This is the life of our matriarch, Miriam Biteng Coloma, my nanay. Nanay was born on September 13, 1922, in San Jose, Santa Cruz, Ilocos Sur, in the Philippines. She is the youngest of 7 children of the late Juan Biteng and Ursula Lara. The other 6 children were Paula, Candido, Luis, Solomon, Moises, and Mercedes Biteng. An ordinary family from Ilocos Sur that God eventually used mightily to reach many people and bring them to a saving knowledge of the Lord. Nanay's parents were among the early converts by American missionaries in the turn of the century. Nanay used to tell stories on how her dad, before he was born again, was the town drunk and smoked tobacco constantly. He didn't really have much of a future until he met the Lord. As a matter of fact, Juan Biteng, her father, became one of the 3 founders of one of the first United Methodist churches in northern Luzon. As a result of his conversion, the rest of the family grew up in a conservative evangelical Christian home that observed the Sabbath quite strictly, as well as family devotions before and after bedtime, and the discipline of tithing. In 1930 to 1934, Nanay attended grade 1 to grade 4 at San Jose Primary School in Ilocos Sur, where she was consistently the top student every year. In 1934 to 1936, she attended grade 5 to grade 7 at Santa Cruz Intermediate School, where she was accelerated from grade 5 to grade 6 in the same year. She graduated from grade 7 as the valedictorian of the class. She then went to Ilocos Sur High School in Vigan, Ilocos Sur from 1936 to 1940, where she was awarded the first honorable mention when she graduated. She even remembers exactly where she stayed while attending high school. It was called Dudley Hall in Vigan, close to the famous Cathedral of Vigan. She moved to Manila and took nursing at Mary Johnston School of Nursing from 1940 to 1943. Mary Johnston Hospital was established in 1906 by American missionaries. The School of Nursing was founded in 1907. The building was completed in 1908. At the outbreak of World War II, the school, along with other schools, suspended classes on December 8, 1941, but many students stayed to help care for the sick and the wounded. Nanay was a freshman when the war broke. The hospital, which was for women and children only, became one for both men and women to take care of the casualties of war brought in for admission. During the Japanese military government, classes were permitted to open. All pre-war activities in the classroom were allowed except that English was replaced by Nihongo during the Japanese occupation. The school was able to graduate its students in 1942, only 1 semester late. Admission of students, graduation, and all other activities continued until the hospital and the school building were burned on February 5, 1945, during the liberation of Manila. Nanay's class of 1943 was the last class to graduate before the hospital and the school were burned in 1945. While the war was still raging, 4 students from class of 1943, including Nanay, were commissioned to the Army Nurse Corps and sent to the base hospital in Tagudin, Ilocos Sur in August of 1945. Fighting was still in the Cordilleras, where Yamashita surrendered later. The senior class of Mary Johnston was transferred to North General Hospital and Chinese General Hospital schools of nursing to continue their studies. This group, with other students from various schools, graduated in 1946 as the first graduate of the North General School of Nursing in 1947. The Mary Johnston School of Nursing was reopened by the authorization of the Bureau of Private Schools. Nanay graduated from Bachelor of Science in Education, BSE, in 1956 at the Philippine Statesman College in Cabanatuan City, which eventually became Philippine Statesman University. Then she eventually graduated from Bachelor of Science in Nursing, BSN, at the Ocampo Memorial College of Nursing in Manila. In 1944 to 1945, Nanay worked at Mary Child's Hospital in Manila, where she was a surgical nurse. Then she worked at San Lazaro Hospital, also in Manila. From 1945 to 1948, Nanay was commissioned as an Army nurse in the United States Armed Forces in the Philippines during World War II. In 1947, Nanay married Ramon Chuatico Sr., an Army officer of the United States Armed Forces in the Far East. This is the Filipino Army that fought side by side with the American Army. Officer Chuatico passed away the year after, in 1948, with a son, Ramon Chuatico Jr., who was born the same year. Nanay became a clinical instructor at Silliman University College of Nursing in Dumaguete City, Negros Oriental from 1950 to 1953. In 1956, 9 years later, Nanay met Lino Edmalin Coloma in Lawag City, Ilocos Norte, and got married the following year. Nanay was assigned to start the chest clinic in Lawag City, dealing with tuberculosis x-rays. She was the first to train public health nurses under the Department of Health on BCG, the testing on tuberculosis. Cynthia Agnes, also known as Chat, the only daughter, was the first of the 3 Coloma children. Noel John and your host, Roy, followed thereafter. Although, obviously, I was born much later. Interestingly, I was born at the same hospital, Mary Johnston Hospital, where Nanay graduated from in College of Nursing. Nanay worked at Nestle Philippines from 1956 to 1983 until she retired at the age of 61. Nestle, the maker of famous brands such as Nescafe, Milo, Nestea, Nido, Milkmaid, and many more, definitely provided her a very good life, to say the least. She started as the medical rep promoting Nestle milk for infant feeding in northern Luzon. She was promoted as supervisor in Metro Manila 7 years later. She coordinated nutrition seminars with doctors all over the country. Nanay also was the one who established the clinic at the head office of Nestle on Buendia Boulevard in Makati. At this time, she was quite involved in the ministry, serving at Knox United Methodist Church in Santa Cruz, Manila. Knox United Methodist Church was one of the largest Protestant churches in the Philippines in those years. It produced several prominent people, including the late Dr. Eliseo Pajaro, one of the greatest Filipino composers of our time, Ray Pagyo, the conductor of the famous UP Concert Chorus, the Puno family, who are involved in Philippine politics, several bishops, including the late Bishop Granadosin and Bishop Nakpil. Doña Buding, Nanette Inventor, Lily Bacho, the treasurer of the Cultural Center of the Philippines, Angie Bacho Manalili, an original member of the world-renowned UP Madrigal Singers and the legendary conductor of several groups, including the Diadems, Camerata Singers, and the Knox Joy Singers, to name a few. Nanay served as the president of the WSCS, the Women's Society of the Methodist Church, for 2 terms. She was also a member of the Knox Administrative Board, the governing council of the church. She was also the president of the Knox School PTA, the Parent-Teacher Association. At the same time, she was involved in music as well. She sang alto in a vocal trio with Lydia Francisco and Lucina Kiambao and got to perform in several venues. Nanay left the Philippines for the United States in 1983, where she began a new chapter of her life. Unwilling to retire, she once again started working as a nurse in the San Francisco area, mainly taking care of elderlies this time, until she finally retired at the age of 77. She has become the matriarch of several churches, both in the Bay Area and the Sacramento area. Known for her encouragements, she has inspired many people over the years. She continues to be an inspiration to many, including in Facebook, which she enjoys much. She still loves to garden. In fact, she's the true definition of someone with a green thumb. Anything she sticks on the ground grows. I mean, she'll stick a branch in the ground in the morning, and by afternoon it's bearing fruits, for crying out loud. She loves parties and hanging out with people. Nanay is the epitome of a true disciple of Christ. She's a prayer warrior, constantly praying for anyone she can think of. She's a student of the Word as well. The joy of the Lord exudes out of her. When she speaks, people listen. It is such a pleasure and honor to celebrate this milestone, 95 glorious years, the life of my very own mother, Miriam Biteng Coloma. We love you, Nanay.
Nanay o nanay, nasabi ko na ba? Salamat, salamat, ikaw ang aking naging ina. Aking